Please welcome Nathan Haymer.
Good afternoon. Success without permission is a threat. That's what I want to talk about. Success should be celebrated at face value, but most of the time it isn't. Success is usually welcomed only when it follows approved pathways, approved timelines, or passes through unofficial permission structures. Let me make it plain. Unofficial permission structures, gatekeepers. Without these permission structures, success becomes disruptive, not because it's wrong, but because it does two things. One, it questions who gets the credit. Two, it challenges who holds the power. Success outside of the script is uncomfortable because it reveals that the real prerequisites for success are courage, competence, and vision. And vision isn't just about dreaming. Vision is forecasting, the ability to project the future based on the current climate of the organization that you lead. Vision is also anticipating what success will later demand, such as funding, attention, and sustainability, because all organizations need resources to survive. Without accounting for the consequences of success, organizations don't fail from weakness, they fail from unprepared growth. In other words, leadership requires vision that prepares for the side effects of success. Because let me tell you something. Success don't solve problems, people. It creates new ones. And now that you're seen as that successful leader, everything about your leadership is now under the microscope. Your methods, your tone, the way you dress, your overall appearance. Leadership stops being something that you do, and it becomes something that you are. You could be in a grocery store on your own personal time doing personal shopping. People will approach you and talk to you about your organization, and now you have to turn it on. I messed that up. Because now you're a successful leader. There's no on and off switch. You're now that leader 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days of the year. Tag, you're it. Because success doesn't ask whether you're ready. Success reveals whether you're prepared. We were taught a simple formula. If you work hard, follow the rules, you will succeed, and everything will be fine. And for a long time, it appears to be true until it isn't. Because the real problem isn't success or failure. The real problem is power. We think systems run by punishment. Systems and power doesn't work that way. Failure is manageable. Failure proves that the system did its job. What shakes the system up and what's disrupted is independent success. Success that arrives early. Success that arrives without endorsement. Success that doesn't ask for permission first. That kind of success doesn't go punished right away. It gets contained. Suddenly there are concerns, alignment conversations, emails, meetings. Not because anything went wrong, but because something went right without authorization. Here's another myth that most people believe. If people like you, you will be safe. Let me make it plain for you. Popularity is not protection. You could be celebrated and still restricted, praised and still limited, visible and still unauthorized. Because systems don't run on popularity, people. Systems run on permission. And permission determines who gets to advance, who gets to lead, and who gets to redefine what success looks like. If success skips those steps, it becomes uncomfortable. Not dangerous, not just yet, but uncomfortable. But here's the tension that no one prepares you for. Systems don't oppose success. They oppose independence. You see, independent success does something radical. It proves that the system is not the only path. And once people see that, the system no longer goes unquestioned. So what you think is excellence is now seen as, you're doing too much. Hey, wait. You're moving too fast. Slow down. Here's my favorite one. You're not a team player. Not because it's harmful, but because it's uncontrollable. So when we say, if you work hard, follow the rules, you will succeed and everything will be fine. What we really mean is, if you work hard, follow the rules, you will succeed with permission and everything will be fine. There was a moment in my work where I oversaw a university band program. And an alumnus of the institution approached me. He was a former football player. Basically, he wanted to be creative. He wanted to propose to his girlfriend during our largest and most visible halftime show of the year. Let me take it to another step. The game is nationally televised, aired live. No room for editing, no room for second guessing. I approach this request the same way I approach every performance, with intention, with vision. And I understood the moment for what it was, not a distraction, but an opportunity to celebrate love, excellence, culture of the university. But let me keep it real. I saw an opportunity for the organization to go viral. I'm not gonna lie. And as expected, we did go viral. In a broader performance community, we were everywhere. We were on top of the world. I knew we was gonna get a lot of attention. That's what I planned for. But what I didn't anticipate was the reaction to it. I was called into a meeting. Not to discuss logistics, not to discuss planning, but to question intent. You see, the assumption was that we received all that visibility because it must have come from something improper. That the success needed explanation, that all the attention needed justification. And I was told something that I never heard in my entire 25-year career until that point. Perhaps future halftime shows should come through the administration building for approval first. And once you understand that, you stop asking simple questions. What did I do wrong? And you start asking a more honest question. What did my success threaten? So, at some point, leadership stops being theoretical. It becomes personal. I've led at highly visible levels. And I also lived through a season where that role was no longer, where my platform went silent. And everything that I thought that would define my future was gone in an instant. No microphone, no institution, no protection. Yep, just accountability and time. But here's what that experience taught me. We don't truly learn leadership with success. We learn leadership when the consequences come and we still choose growth over bitterness. Reflection over retaliation. Purpose over pride. Because impact doesn't live in a title. Legacy doesn't live in permission. Think about this. Permission has never created progress. Let it sink in. Progress has always been uncomfortable, unapproved, inconvenient. Why? It's because the systems that raised us were not designed to recognize what outgrows them. So, what matters is what survives when our leadership is no longer and our access is gone. What we choose to correct when the applause stops. Who we become when the narrative is no longer yours to control. I didn't disappear. I didn't harden up. I didn't let consequences become the end. I'm still here, still contributing, still shaping culture. Not because I avoided consequences, but because I refused to let them be the end of the story. That's the part of leadership we don't talk about enough. How do you lead yourself when the spotlight is gone? When silence replaces validation, and when you stripped of everything and you have nothing left but your character. That's when leadership gets real. That's where it truly begins. Because if leadership doesn't cost you, it didn't change nothing. Thank you.